I'm hitting record.
You're gonna have to give me the go ahead. Yeah, just give me that hooty hoo. All right, welcome back to the Nub Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I guess your co-host, the Murse.
This is Felton. I'm the resident cooking expert. I will be talking about my new Instapot and the pleasures of pressure cooking. That's not even a joke. I love pressure cooking now.
I know you were telling me about that while we were at Megacon. That's all you talked about during Megacon. You're like, oh, you can make these burgers though. They're the most delicious burgers ever.
Quite frankly, I was disappointed that there wasn't more tracks to follow there. For like fandoms for like pressure cooking.
Like a pressure cooking pot, like live podcast or a pressure cooking panel,
or like pressure cooking celebrities, even.
Mm-hmm. How to become a pressure cooker YouTube star.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I guess that's a good segue then into Megacon.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I have to say, I was quite disappointed.
Really?
Yes, I was. Now, keep in mind, we've been very fortunate the past few cons that we've gone to, as far as like the Megacon Corporation in general, have been really heavy with stars. So this was the first one where it was really light on the stars. And I don't know. Like, I got the VIP, and I felt like it was completely not worth it. Paid way too much money.
Did they spend so much money trying to get Jeff Goldblum there that... Well, I mean, and it's my impression that they don't pay the celebrities, so I'm not really sure.
Well, that was one of my many problems. Okay, so, the Jim Lee's supposed to be their big headliner there. That was the whole draw, like Stan Lee in the past. Jim Lee was their big draw, right? So why are you going to have a big star like Jeff Goldblum there at the same time, like having his panel at the same time as Jim Lee? I mean, that did not make sense to me. I mean, I figured they would have split those two up, kind of spread out throughout the day. But that was what I saw a lot of. I saw a lot of, like, they had all the big stars that you'd want to go to their panels kind of scheduled at the same time.
Well, that's really kind of what I didn't understand, is they didn't have a huge variety of people. So why did you have Catherine Tate at the same time as... I think you were at a different panel, too, when we were at Catherine Tate. So it was just like, why have it all lined up? Because they didn't have anything else going on.
Exactly. It should have been spread out. It should have been spread out better. Like, in the past, I've not been able to go to see this panel, that panel, because there was too many good panels going on at the same time, and that's okay. Like, I don't mind, say, throughout the day, if you've got like 6 really good panels and some of them overlap each other, okay. But when you've only really got like 6 good panels for 4 days, and you have all of them almost at the same time, that didn't make any sense to me.
There weren't any panels. There were Q&A sessions, which you know how I feel about those. I'm not a terribly big fan of celebrity Q&A sessions.
What's your favorite color?
Do you want a hug? No.
Real quick, while we're on the Q&A thing. So we went and saw Billy D. Williams, right? Lando from Star Wars.
Yeah, I heard of him.
Oh, man. His panel was great.
The Childish Gambino, right?
Yeah, well, not the Childish Gambino wasn't there, but... but his panel was great, right? But this is one of the most awkward panel questions I've ever heard. So this guy gets up to the microphone, and he's like, hey, I don't have a question for you per se. I have a question for you about, you worked with an actor who worked with an actor who worked with an actor who worked with John Wayne. Did that actor that you worked with have any stories from those other actors that had worked with John Wayne about how John Wayne was? I was like, what? Is this questionception? Like, what is going on here? Like 6 degrees of separation for your question now?
He gets up there and he has a stick above his head that says Super Kai 69. And he gets up there and he goes, how much dedodated wham do you need? Billy D. Williams is just like, what?
Let me tell you though, Billy Dee Williams is still a smooth mofo. Like he's up there. I don't know. He's probably in his 60s, 70s, but like his whole swagger, the way he talks, everything's just smooth as ice.
Mm.
Still, and that's what he was talking about in his panel.
This
I
how
guess
smooth he
him and
was.
is it was how smooth he was. Yeah, him and Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, playing the new Lando Calrissian in the new Han Solo movie, which was fantastic, by the way. Screw all the critics.
Okay.
Anyways, he asked Billy D. Williams, "Hey, any pointers for how I should play this character?" And Billy D. Williams was straight up, "Just be smooth." It's
Mm.
just like, wow, that's all you got to do. And he was, like, he really, Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, did a great job of really portraying Lando Calrissian from the original Star Wars movies in
Portraying
this.
the original betrayer.
Yes. Oh yeah.
See, he
Did
wasn't
you
very smooth
you did
partnering
see
up in
you
with
did see the
Donald
movie,
Glover.
right?
No, no, not yet. No, we didn't get a chance.
You didn't do your homework?
No, no, no.
Oh, you were so
Some,
fired. You were so
yeah.
fired from this podcast that we make no money off of.
No, no. Something came up today that I forgot about. So
Oh my god. Well,
but
let me tell you, it was phenomenal.
tell me.
It was much better than The Last Jedi by far. Um, the guy that plays Han Solo, I understand kind of what they're doing with it because you obviously can't recreate Harrison Ford,
Well,
right?
I beg to differ, but go ahead.
Okay, well, I mean, who
We
do you think could have portrayed Harrison Ford
no, we can recreate Harrison Ford with cloning.
with what?
Cloning.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Or they could have just computer animated his whole
Just put him in a
thing.
younger body of himself, and
Yeah.
then there you go.
But anyways, it honestly felt like it was like a young hopeful Han Solo. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like before the universe has kind of screwed him over, before he's become like a real hardcore smuggler. This is him when he's young. So I get what they're doing with the character. It's not the Han Solo that we meet later on in the movies, and that's okay. I was okay with that.
Hmm.
You know, everything else about the movie is absolutely fantastic. There's a surprise in there, and God, I wish you'd seen the movie so you know what I'm talking about. But those of you out there who are listening who have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That surprise, me and Foxtail had no idea that was coming, and we both sat up in the theater like, "What the fuck?"
Well,
Like it was.
I kind of deduced what it was. I mean, I didn't even look at any spoilers
Hmm.
or anything, but I figured it out, and maybe I can just use you to bounce this idea off of. But
Okay, let's hear.
I think
Let's
they
hear.
reveal for the first time officially that he's a scruffy-headed nerf herder.
Oh, damn it! You got it.
Yeah, I know.
You absolutely got it.
Yeah, I figured that was gonna be it.
Oh man. All right, so let me go back to my gripes about Megacon real quick, and then we'll hear your side of it. Okay, so Foxtail and I absolutely love to go to the after parties, right?
Yeah.
They usually have a great DJ. There's a lot of room to dance. There's alcohol. It's just a good time, right? A bunch of nerds having a
Giant
good time.
open space.
Yeah, there's like laser tag sometimes and like all kinds of fun stuff, right?
Yeah.
So these after parties for this, and I think you're right when we were talking about this before. I think MegaCon was run by different people this time, because this time their after parties were absolute trash. The first one, Thursday night, we bought tickets so we could go to a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant where they said there was going to be dancing and a dance floor and all this. It was just a restaurant. We paid for tickets to go to a restaurant. So we complained about it. We were very upset, and they actually refunded us the money, or at least they're supposed to refund us the money. I don't know if we've gotten it back yet, but we'll find out soon. So that was our first experience with the after party. Then we screwed up and we didn't go to the next after party because we're like, that first one was so terrible. We're just gonna wait till the Oasis after party because that one's gonna be good. That's got to be good. So we missed out on the after party that actually had our favorite DJ,
The
which was
Phantasmagoria.
yeah, the Phantasmagoria thing had DJ Da Vinci, I believe is his name,
Hmm.
and he is a fantastic DJ as far as like nerd stuff is concerned. So we kicked ourselves in the pants for not going to that. We're like, it's okay. We're gonna go to the Oasis one. The Oasis one is gonna be fantastic. It's at the same place that it was last year. And last year they blew the walls off it. That's where the laser tag was. That's where they had like a sit down video game thing going on. Like it's gonna be fantastic, right? Now,
It's gonna be themed with Ready Player One. There's gonna be video games
yeah,
everywhere.
exactly. Not at all. Not at all. And you can attest to this because I know you got there before we did.
Mm.
So you had a little bit of a better experience than we did. But we got there, and the dance floor was smaller than my living room. Like the actual
Yes.
dance floor, smaller than my living room. The music did not play outside. They had like the whole pool area there. The music did not play outside. I didn't even know there was a pool area to begin with, so I didn't bring a bathing suit or anything. It was way overcrowded. You could not like by the time we got there. Now, granted, before when we've gone to after parties, you've got time. You can go get something to eat. Take an hour before you get there, whatever. So that's what we did this time. We're like, okay, this time we got to eat. We got to, recharge a little bit before we go dance. When we got there, first off, it took us about 30 to 40 minutes to get into the place. We had to wait in a line, even though we bought tickets online. We had to wait 30, 40 minutes to get into the place. When we got into the place, it was way overcrowded. They had to be way over capacity as far as like fire codes and everything are concerned. Like it was dangerously packed in there.
Oh,
Then,
absolutely.
you couldn't get a drink. Trying to get a drink at the bar was, I mean, it took us another 35, 40 minutes to get a drink at the bar. And on top of all that, when we were done with all that, we decided to leave, and somebody fucking like let off a stink bomb on the dance floor. Like it was probably our worst after party experience ever. I mean, it was absolutely terrible. So there was that. Um, there was a lot of yelling going on by the staff there. Like we got yelled at a lot for nothing.
Oh,
Like
wow.
at one point in time, Foxtail, and I bought the VIP tickets, like I said. So she's trying to go into the VIP entrance, and there's a security guard woman there who's yelling at her to get out of that line and go into the regular line because she's premium and not VIP. And it's like, no, I'm VIP. Like just like a lot of arguing and yelling for no reason. Um, they only had one entrance this time, which has never been the case before. Normally they have a few entrances, right?
Which was
Um,
super annoying.
Yeah, there was only the one entrance. There was only one weapons check. So again, it made it so it took longer to do anything. The only one thing I can say is there was a security guard there. His name was Miguel, and all 3 days that I saw him, he was extremely helpful. Like he was, very nice about like when he tied the little plastic strip on any weapons or anything we had, he would clip it really close so it wouldn't take away from the prop. When there was a big line to get in, him and another security guard actually came to the line and started wrapping our props right there in the line so that we could get into the con faster. The guy was a big sweetheart. I don't know his last name. His name was Miguel though. He was fantastic. Let's see, what else was there to complain about? Again, not enough guests, not enough like big names, that kind of thing. All right, so those are my gripes. The things that I really enjoyed were thank you by the way for having me and Foxtail meet you at that, was it Geeks of Comedy?
Oh, yeah.
That was the perfect way to end our con. Those guys had me laughing so hard. I swear I was gonna pee myself. Like they were fantastic,
Oh,
absolutely fantastic.
that's always the best way. Like it's a funny group. They always have some pretty funny people there.
Oh, well, I've never seen them before,
Oh, you didn't see
and
them
I
last
was
year?
no, I was
Oh, okay.
surprised and blown away, and they were absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they were funny.
Um, Seeing Lucy Lawless was amazing. We saw Stephen Moyer from Gifted and True Blood there. He was great. Getting to meet my idol Jim Lee, even though I had to pay $99 to do it. I got him to sign some of my comic books, and I got to actually shake his hand and talk to him, get a picture taken with him, and then we watched him in his panel draw. But again, they had him at the same time as Jeff Goldblum. I would have loved to be able to see both of them. Like they're two big names. I don't understand why they weren't separated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that to me didn't really make any sense at all.
Yep. Let's see. And seeing Billy D. Williams was fantastic. I mean, like I said, he's smooth. He's just smooth as butter.
Mhm.
So, what was your experience at this con?
So basically, I found myself because, as you know, I tend to go to Dragon Con every year,
Yep, we're
and
going this year. Woo, woo.
and I found myself a bit just kind of dejected with the schedule lineup because I'm looking at the lineup and I see, celebrity photo op and celebrity photo op and celebrity photo op and celebrity signing, and it just seemed like the only things that were going on were, um, you know, Marvel
Money.
group photos and
Yeah.
celebrity photo op. Have Cecil Grimes sign, get a photo with him for however much it costs, or photos with Jessica Nigiri and Yaya Han and
Yeah.
all this. I'm like,
Yeah. It
where are
seemed
the
like
panels?
exactly. It seemed like this year was more about money grab. All their big celebrities, for the most part, all they were there for was pictures and autographs. It was a big money grab.
And it
It
just
really
seems,
was.
and the only thing I can think of is perhaps, and I've heard this in the past, and again I believe it's true, that they don't pay the celebrities to be there, and I'm wondering if the result of that is less celebrities are willing to do panels or have group discussions with other celebrities about
Hmm.
various things, because I don't blame them. It's their time and money. They're not getting paid to be there.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, I mean, they owe me nothing. I mean, I'm not owed Jeff Goldblum's time. So,
Hmm.
it was nice that a few of them put on like Q&A sessions, but ultimately I feel like that really takes away from the overall experience. And some of the only panels they had, it seemed, and I get it, sometimes at Dragon Con they'll have like a cosplayer doing a panel, or
Hmm.
somebody who's not exactly famous, like just a couple of people paying to get in and do a panel or something, or talk about a topic.
Yeah.
But some of those panels I've thoroughly enjoyed. There was one where somebody was talking about using, like crafting and doing stuff, and I went to that panel, and I
Hmm.
enjoyed it at Dragon Con. But I mean, there's none of that. I mean, they had, Make 'em Laugh Films, how to be a YouTube star. They had
Hmm.
some other panel that was how to make it in Hollywood. And,
Yeah. What was that all about?
I mean, and I'm assuming you had to pay, $15 to get into that one, and then the guy's going to show up inside and say, okay, here's how you make it in Hollywood. You go to a
Hmm.
convention, charge everybody $15 for your panel, and then you can pay your way into, making a movie once you get $1 million, like, whatever.
Could be.
And I feel like just the whole con experience was central around the fact that that's the biggest uh, uh, like main vendor hall floor I've ever seen so far. Like, I think it was even bigger than last year, and I
Yeah, I
think
feel you on that.
I just feel like they were trying to jam pack as many vendors as they could to try and get as much money as they could. And I'm wondering again if it's because this is a new owner, you know?
Hmm.
And, looking at the after party based on what you said of the first night, that just sounds awful. And then it seems like they had no understanding of, and I'm not even a huge Ready Player One fan,
Yeah.
and I feel like they saw the name The Oasis and thought, "Oh, let's have a party by the pool." But then I don't
Hmm.
even think they allowed anybody to go swimming in the pool. I don't remember anybody in there. There were guests from the hotel that were swimming in the pool, but they
Yeah.
had half the pool deck divided, so the party didn't even extend out into the pool. Not to mention,
I.
I don't know if you saw, but on the other side of the tent they had outside, there was
Hmm.
this huge empty area where it was just completely not utilized. That people were just going there to stand, to have some space, and have some personal space. It's
Yeah.
like they could have set up another tent and had an entire, 2 rows of arcade cabinets to even try
Exactly.
and capture the theme of the movie. I feel like they saw Oasis and they wanted to have an Oasis pajama party, which,
I.
again, the
I.
theme this year was stupid.
Yeah. Like I feel like honestly, I feel like last year at that same place, the after party they had there was more Oasis themed because they had video games there. They had laser tag. They had a bunch of stuff going on. That was different genres of nerddom that would have fit an Oasis theme much better than what they had going on. There was nothing there that
Not
tied
only that,
it to Oasis, except for there were a couple screens by the bar, and I think maybe behind the DJ that just had some like Oasis type
they
pictures.
had a
Like
PowerPoint presentation looping
e-
with like
exactly.
profiles of different characters, and I don't even remember seeing like the main characters on there. It just had like the bad guy and the other bad guy, and I didn't even didn't really pay attention to most of it. And
Hold
then
on. hold on, I'm getting a note from Foxtail here.
Hmm.
None of the DJ showed, only one. Oh, yeah. So like none of the good DJs from previous years were there. Even they only had one. There was no virtual reality like there was supposed to be. There's
Oh no,
nothing like what.
they only had, that was another point I was gonna make.
Hmm?
They only had two stations set up.
Oh, so they
One,
did have
yeah,
virtuality
they
there.
did have virtual reality. One had Beat Saber, and I want to say the other one may have been running like fucking demo of the
And
Ready
where were they
Player
hiding
game.
those?
Oh, it was in the tent area, the tent where
Oh,
they
okay.
had the two Alien Man band
Hmm.
and the drinks and the food. Like everything was crammed under that tent outside.
Yeah.
And I even want to say the
It,
band they had too was just kind of confusing because they had these couches all around, and I felt like it was this exclusive little spot that
yeah.
no one was allowed to go in.
And then on top of all that, right? It's the rainy season.
Hmm.
Why are you going to have this party outside for the most part? Because trying to get inside was ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
In the past, like I know, okay, one of my best experiences with one of these after parties is Foxtail and I went to one, and like it was like a high school dance. Nobody was dancing yet. We got there early. Nobody was dancing. Everybody's kind of like just around the dance floor, like listening to the DJ, and the DJ is trying to get people to dance, right?
Mm.
All of a sudden, One Punch Man goes out, and he just starts killing it on the dance floor by himself, right? And One Punch Man, all of a sudden, he pulls Foxtail out, he pulls this person out, he pulls that person out. And next thing you know, we've got a party. Like people are dancing their asses off, and we danced until the very end of that night.
Mm.
Until they're like, all right, we got to shut this down now. I mean, it
Did
was
One Punch Man
phenomenal.
like just start punching the security guards, and then
No,
the
no,
dance continued?
One Punch Man started punching the boredom out of everybody and got everybody on the dance floor. He started dance punching his way into our
I saw
hearts.
a really good One Punch Man just like passing by on the vendor area floor.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw him. I don't remember which day it was, but
I saw a couple of One Punch Mans that were pretty decent. I mean, it's not the hardest costume in the world. You just kind of
oh,
have
I
to be
just
in
mean
shape a
like
little
it
bit,
was. You got to be in shape, but like the quality of
and
his outfit was clearly well done, and it was clearly you know homemade.
yeah.
It wasn't like
But
he was wearing yellow pajamas with duct tape on it.
what I'm saying though is that they had these areas, like these giant dance floor areas that were perfect because you had room for people to get around a circle and have the dance offs and all kinds of stuff. I mean, things that made it unbelievably fun. They took all the fun out of the after parties, in my opinion.
And I don't understand because was there something else going on that night at the hotel because there were
There
a
was
ton of
I
people
did see
inside.
I did see that there was a wedding by where they had the dance before, and that's just poor planning. I mean, how
So
is that?
that's
I
what it
mean,
was. There was a wedding in that hall and they couldn't
yeah,
book it.
but let me tell you. So, are you telling me that wedding made more money than they made off of the Megacon after party? I doubt that highly.
Mm.
I mean, they must have paid a pretty penny if they outbid the Megacon
Oh,
after
because
party.
I just remember going inside and there were all these normies in there. And I was
Hmm.
like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I couldn't quite, and then all of a sudden in the corner, it was like, oh, you got to go outside and go around. I remember, some Deadpool was telling me that.
Yeah.
So we were waiting in line with, Unicorn cardboard box carrying his upper half Deadpool,
Yeah.
and we were hanging out there for a minute, and
So So I basically paid almost $80 so we could go there for 20 minutes, be annoyed to the point where we couldn't take it anymore and leave.
yeah, basically, yeah.
It was terrible,
Just be
absolutely
glad that you
terrible.
didn't get the VIP section. I don't know if you saw that, but the VIP
Oh,
section was just like a sliver on
oh
the
yeah,
far end of the room, and the
yep, I
tickets were
saw it.
like $100.
Yeah, screw that. It was terrible. That most of this con, I have to say, a majority of this con was terrible.
Hmm.
I was not happy at all. I may not. I don't know. I mean, I could sit here and say that I may not go to another MayCon, but I probably will. I'll probably go to the next
I'll
MayCon.
probably go to the
But I'm
next
definitely.
MegaCon, but I'm
I'm not.
debating staying
I'm
the
not
whole
doing.
weekend.
Yeah, exactly. I'm probably not gonna stay the whole weekend. I'm definitely not doing VIP. Like that's just not happening.
Maybe just go
It,
Saturday, maybe check out the after party to see if they, you know.
See, I don't even like. I maybe go Saturday and Sunday because Sunday actually was the saving grace of the con for us.
Yeah.
Like Sundays when they had the best panels. You
Hmm.
know that Sunday is when they had that comedy thing. That I mean, that really just turned my whole trip around. That
Hmm.
that comedy thing was fantastic. Sunday really helped save the con for me.
Well, as it gets closer to Dragon Con, they'll start populating the website more with the and if you go there now, and I recommend you start looking at it. It shows
Hmm.
you like all the different fandom tracks you can follow, and there's literally like anything you can friggin' think of, like
Well, I'll set
RuPaul's Drag Race track, horror track, comic
yes.
track, like any obscure ass thing you can think of, like Hobbit. You can spend your whole weekend doing Hobbit shit. I mean, anything you can think of, you start, and that's the thing is like I've seen it. You start following the same people around, and
Hmm.
you start networking and meeting people, and because you're seeing the same people the whole time,
Well,
going
that
to
will
your
be good. The
panels.
whole the whole networking thing will be good because I guess I can announce it here. I am seriously throwing my hat into the ring to become a comic book writer.
Hmm.
I'm absolutely serious about it. I've got 3 issues. I just need to finish the scripts for them. And I need to find myself an artist because I used to be able to draw, but I definitely do not have that talent now, especially to draw in a storytelling format like comic books. So I need to find myself a comic book artist, and I want to start shopping my comic book around people. So building a network would be great.
Start hanging out at coffee shops, and then somebody comes in,
No,
you
no,
drop the
no,
script on the floor in front of them. Oops, oh sorry,
no. The
I'm a
coffee
writer.
shop thing. The coffee shop thing is only for screenwriting and for novels. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, the comic book writers are the ones who are like desperately trying to put their comic book in everybody's hands that they can find.
Yeah, that happened a couple times to me, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll buy your comic for $5." I was just like, because
Well,
this
let
guy
me tell
handed it
you,
to
it's
me. I was like, "Okay, I'll buy it."
self-publishing is a real viable option too. I found that out like after doing some research and stuff. So if I can get an artist and I can get my stuff together, you can self-publish through Amazon and it's really affordable.
Well,
So,
there was this guy. I was at work, and
hmm
there's this crazy man that I was, doing my work thing, and somehow it came up that he was a published writer, and that he wrote a book about his, you know, mind adventures or adventures into his own mind or
hmm
you know, something like that. And he wrote a book, and he's on, New York Times bestseller top 1,000 or something. And I was just like, oh man, if this guy can do it,
hmm
what am I doing with my life?
exactly. All right, so movies. Now you did see Deadpool 2, right?
Hmm.
What did you think?
Oh, that was great.
Right? Like the way it started, what are you doing?
Oh, I dropped something. Sorry, it was right next to the phone. That's probably why you heard it.
So, I honestly felt like this movie. There was parts where I laughed harder at this movie than I did the first movie.
Mm.
Like I was laughing so hard. I mean, I don't think we're gonna kill anything doing spoilers by now, right? It's been
If
out
they
for a
haven't,
while,
if
right?
they haven't seen it, then I,
Because
eBay.
when he was shirt cocking it, that whole part,
Hmm.
oh my god, like I was gonna piss myself laughing. It was that funny. But it started off slow. Like I really was worried that it was starting off in a direction where I was like, oh man, this isn't gonna be as good as the first movie.
Mm.
But I was extremely extremely surprised. Domino and Cable were amazing, but they were nothing compared to Peter.
Hmm.
Peter is officially my favorite X-Force member.
Hmm.
I want to get like a little toy of Peter. I want to set him up with all my little action figures. Like he's like in there doing his little X-Force thing. Oh my God,
He was
Peter was
pretty good.
amazing.
I don't know about this cable guy, but
Yeah, I mean,
melanoma
Cable,
kills more people.
Cable and Domino. Okay, they were good. I mean, whatever, But I think Peter needed more screen time. I think Peter. There's a story there. There really is like a heartwarming story there that I feel like we missed out on, and I hope that he gets his own spinoff. I hope he gets his own spinoff movie Peter of X-Force,
Hmm.
I would go see that in a heartbeat.
Like somehow he doesn't die.
Yeah, well, he doesn't die. Did you watch the end credits?
No, apparently I missed that part.
Oh my God. Listen, anybody who hasn't seen the movie yet, spoilers, 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 spoilers. So I don't know why. How did you not stay for the after credits? It's a comic book movie, but the after credits, Deadpool gets the time traveling thing from Cable somehow, and he has Super Negasonic name way too long, and what was her name, Miko or something, fix it for him.
Hmm.
What is it? What is it? Oh, Yukio, that's right. He has Yukio and Negasonic Teenage whatever fix it for him, and he goes back in time, and he obviously saves his girlfriend. He saves Peter. Peter's the only one from X Force he saves.
Oh God.
He's like, "Run away, Sugar Bear! Step away from X Force," that kind of thing. He goes back and kills the Deadpool from the crappy Wolverine movie.
I saw that part. Okay, so that I had to
Okay.
pee horrendously bad, so I ran out
Oh,
real quick, and I
o-
came back, and then
old
he
old
killed.
man problems again. I understand.
Yeah, he killed. I came back right as he killed the old Deadpool,
Yeah,
which was hilarious.
that was hilarious. So overall, I
And
think
then he
Deadpool
kills him. He
2.
kills himself when he's looking at the
Yes.
Green Lantern script.
Oh yes, I forgot about that part too. Yep.
You're welcome, Canada.
Yeah. So I gotta say, overall, I definitely feel like this Deadpool lived up to the first one, the hype of the first one. You haven't seen Solo yet. We talked about it a little bit, so I won't go too much into there. Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Ha- Hashtag Thanos was right.
Thanos is right all day long.
Yes, all day long, especially while we're at this con. When we're at this con, I'm waiting to get the props, tied up. I'm like, damn, Thanos was right. You know what I mean?
Oh God, and the thing of it was,
Wait,
and I've said this before, I didn't really like anybody after Winter Soldier, or it was Civil War, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War,
yeah,
Ant-Man, Spider-Man movie, whatever it was called.
yeah, yeah.
There were just several of the characters I just was like, I'm just kind of done with all of them because the plot was just yet again you have Tony Stark being the driving force behind fucking everything up. And I don't know why there are all these villains because it just seems like Tony Stark, he messed everything up yet again. So
I think we're gonna find out that Tony Stark is actually the son of Thanos, and
yeah,
that's
I
the
mean,
reason that.
he really has done more to ruin the world time and time again. Just by even just his dickishness. Iron Man
Hmm.
2 created a
Hmm.
villain. So,
Yep.
I just God, like he keeps ruining everything. Oh, you mean
Well,
you were the victim of a mind control experiment and you killed my parents as a result of not having control over yourself? Oh, I
hmm
can't reconcile that. I'm gonna kill you. Like he's
yeah,
supposed to be an intelligent man. Like I
but
don't
yet
know.
my company that was owned by my father before me, and I'm paying for the sins of my father, kind of thing, has done so many damages to human life in war times and all that kind of stuff. Blah blah blah. So yeah, I definitely see that. But let me tell you, they did such a good job with Thanos in general. Like his animation,
Oh yeah.
like he was phenomenal. Like I love the fact that you could feel for him. Like at the end of it, it's like he's almost the good guy. Like when he sits down and he like lets that breath out, that sigh of like I've finally done this, and it cost me. He even had that scene with Gamora as a child, and she asked him like, "What did it cost you?" And he's like, "Everything."
Mm.
I could actually sympathize with him. I was like, man, like he really did like
I
give up
remember when I had to
everything.
kill half of everyone in the
Exactly. Like
universe.
I remember how hard it was taking out half of just Brevard. Like I couldn't imagine like half the galaxy.
God,
Of
so
course,
much.
nobody remembers that because I snapped my fingers and
No, it's
But
true. See,
I
all
thought.
he had to do, like, and that was another thing too. Ultimate power to control literally everything.
Hmm.
He has the eye of Agatha Christie. He can turn back time. So he could have
He can
simply
find a way.
he could have just made this whole problem go away. Go
Hmm.
back like a week or two before he's on anybody's radar, snap his
Hmm.
fingers, kill half the universe, snap his fingers again, and then make everybody forget that half the universe got destroyed. There you
Yeah, but
go. No one's
then you
trying to
wouldn't have a
fix
story
him.
though. Then you wouldn't
Well,
have a story.
I mean, I'm just saying he should have done it the right way. That was the only
Oh,
thing he did wrong.
so speaking of movies, you know that there's that movie that's being shot locally, Bocus, right?
Yes.
So Foxtail actually got to go to one of their set things and do some zombie makeup there. I was there with her, as the worst assistant to the makeup artist ever.
Is that
Not
the
the assistant
credit?
makeup artist though. Assistant to the makeup artist. Yes,
Is that
that's
what the credit's going to
I.
read? The worst assistant to the makeup artist?
Yes, that's what it should read. It should say the worst assistant to the makeup artist ever. That's what I'm going to be on IMDb. So, uh, but man, she did some great zombie looks, and it just seemed like it was a lot of fun and stuff like that. I know a friend of ours did the choreography there. Like it was definitely an interesting experience. Cecil Grimes was there, and the true Aquaman was there.
Oh, speaking of Cecil,
I knew you were going to bring this up.
I
Let's just get right to it.
get right to it. I am going to be curious, and I really don't think he'll have a problem because people are still going to want to do, his photo booth experience, his
Hmm.
Walking Dead experience. But they're killing Mr. Lincoln off the show. Isn't that his
I
name?
know. Yeah, his last name is Lincoln. Yep.
Yeah, he's leaving after this season.
Yep.
So
I don't even know why they should just end the show at that point in time. If they're gonna kill his character off, they should just end the show. But I it's gonna be a big money grub. So
yeah, well, they
that's
got
right.
Daryl.
The lady that plays Maggie's leaving too.
Well, they're talking. I guess the rumor is that they're talking about Norman Reedus, taking over as the lead character.
Yeah,
So
I think at that point in time you're grasping at straws. You know.
I think the show's had its magic. I mean, how many seasons are we into now?
I think this will be the ninth or 10th season coming up. But and here's the thing too, like the comic books, like the show, surround Rick Grimes and his family,
Mm.
right? That's the main centerpiece of both the comic book and the show has been Rick Grimes. So if you're killing Rick Grimes off, you might as well just end the show. Like there's no point in continuing on
Oh
after
wow,
that,
you're
in my
right.
opinion.
8 seasons. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been on for a while.
I was gonna say Supernatural's up to like 13, which that's crazy to me to think that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I mean, there's only a couple of years difference between Supernatural airing and The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
They also took
Well,
time off though quite a few times. So
yeah, it will be interesting to see like how long Cecil Grimes is able to. I mean, I could imagine he could continue doing this pretty much until the end of until he decides it's time for him to walk away from it. I don't know if necessarily Rick Grimes dying or the show even
it's going
ending.
to affect the people wanting to go to his Walking Dead fan experience. But
Yeah, because I mean, there's plenty of shows like Firefly and things like that where they've ended, and there's still people that absolutely love Firefly and things like that. And if there was a
I
fire,
know we goof on certain aspects of conventions and stuff, but I do ultimately like him and Yaya Han and some of these other people who have turned a business out of that con life.
oh yeah.
I truly think that's great. I mean, I
Hmm.
think it's fantastic, and I never want to see somebody, to have to walk away from that. And I hope that, you know, I hope that he's able to continue, doing what he's doing because ultimately, I mean, isn't that the goal? I mean, if I had some, thing which would allow me to travel the country and go to conventions and make money, I would jump on that in a heartbeat. So,
Well, I mean, after a while, it becomes like a Carney show.
yeah.
You know how the Carney show kind of goes. Like you'll have a part of a Carney show, and you just go around and do your part of that Carney show. His show, his product is kind of like that, where it's like, okay, I come, I set this up, you get your experience, you get the pictures taken, and I'm sure that he knows that there's probably an expiration date on doing that for him.
Well,
He
he's
probably.
also kind of set up some kind of entertainment company too, because I think he does like other stuff, like corporate parties and weddings, and
Oh,
basically
okay. So
you can hire him out to do like the Walking Dead experience for anything. So the guy's turned it into a whole entertainment you know business basically.
yeah, I'm sure he's probably still got a good few, probably a good 10 years at least left, for doing what he's doing now.
Mm,
Easily, I would imagine he's probably got a good 10 years of still doing what he's doing now. I
mm.
mean, it might start to fall off after a while. But I mean, it's going to be in syndication. It's going to be on Netflix. It's going to reach even more fans that didn't watch the show before because maybe it was daunting to them to try to get into a show like
You know
that. But
what
now
would
that it's on
be
Netflix, they can watch the whole thing. That's the great thing about Netflix is that's probably created so many new fandoms just for the simple fact that you can sit down and watch the whole thing through. That's how I got addicted to Doctor Who. Actually,
mm,
was when it was on Netflix. I watched the whole thing all the way through, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm hooked."
you know what would be great.
Hmm.
So this guy leaves The Walking Dead, and
Mm-hmm.
it's off the air. He's off the air for a little bit. He goes to another show that is some kind of sci-fi genre that ends up
Mm-hmm.
booming and becoming incredibly popular. And
Oh yeah.
then Cecil ends up just,
Just
segueing
moves over
into
to the next thing.
segues into this other genre or topic or whatever it is. Like,
Hey, that would be great for him. Like, like whatever his name, Lincoln, all of a sudden becomes like the new captain
the teddy
of
bear
like the
apocalypse.
he becomes the new captain of like of like the Enterprise or something.
Oh
and
man.
now and now you've got Captain Cecil Grimes.
Captain
I think that'd be great.
Cecil Kirk.
Cecil Kirk Grimes, yeah. I mean, honestly, like, yeah, as long if that actor continues on to another syndicated, sci-fi or fantasy thing, I mean, I don't know how much Cecil looks like him without the beard, but I'm sure he could make something out of that too. So
Well,
it
not
could be
only
a
that,
continuing
but
venturing for him.
you also, what's to say that he can't open up a second, photo fan experience too?
Exactly, and do two different ones. Yeah,
Roll
I
it
don't.
all in. I mean, we were seeing
Mhm.
that a little bit. They had like that little Beetlejuice one, which kind of
Mhm.
popped out of nowhere. I've never seen that before. I don't know if that was the first time that guy's done it
Which
or what.
which angers me because you do a much better Beetlejuice. Like I'm telling
Oh,
you, I'll shave my beard. I'll be your ortho. We'll get Foxtail to dress up as Liddy. And there you go. We got the Beetlejuice experience right there.
I still think it would be way more funny for her to dress up as Delia.
There you go. Yeah.
You could do Otho and the mom. That would be fucking
Yep.
hilarious. I think.
All right. So,
What the hell was I saying?
uh, along with the changing in like movies and TV, have you seen Jamie Foxx has been signed on to do Spawn?
No, I didn't see that.
I'm kind of excited about that actually. I loved Spawn when I was a kid. That Spawn movie that came out in the '90s was terrible, and I loved it. So I'm really interested to see how Jamie Foxx does as Spawn.
The one with
I'm
John
hoping he brings.
Leguizamo?
Oh, that'd be great if they brought John Leguizamo back as the Violator,
I don't think he was
which
that
is
bad.
that's just a great evil name, Violator. It just sounds like something terrible is gonna happen to you.
He was a gross clown, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yep. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. In video games, I know you said that your old lady beat Far Cry 5, right?
Yes.
I'm still playing it, and let me tell you, there's nothing more fun than like gunning down like super religious rednecks, basically. Like I don't know. I
I was
mean, I
about
know
to
it's not
say,
politically correct,
were
but
you planning on going back in time to the Crusades, or what was going on?
yeah, like that's my plan. But they've got some fantastic looking DLC coming out. Have you seen any of it yet?
I know they're doing like Vietnam and
Yeah, the Vietnam one's
zombies.
like whatever, but the one where okay, so do you know how you help that scientist character out who is like all into aliens and
Yeah,
there's the
yeah.
whole
Is that going to be
yeah
the segue into the whole Mars thing?
yeah that's what that's supposed to that's actually supposed to be him from what I understand, you'll be playing as him on Mars fighting
Oh,
aliens.
really? So it's almost like a John Carter type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm
Oh,
very
that's too
excited about that.
funny.
And then I don't see, this is the first time I played Far Cry in a long time. Did they have this whole arcade mode before?
I don't remember the multiplayer because I never played it, but I want to say Far Cry 3 had a multiplayer mode, and I never got into it. This is the first time Far Cry
I'm loving this
multiplayer
art.
for me has actually been,
Yeah, I'm loving the arcade like multiplayer stuff, man. It's fantastic.
mm. No, I think it's a great game. I mean,
Hmm.
after beating it, and because we played co-op through her game, and
Yeah,
so my game kind of never got finished. But we
yeah.
we pretty much did like every side mission and everything. So
Well, and I mean, let's be honest. This isn't one of those games that you like will play over and over and over again. I mean, it's got a expiration date on it.
oh yeah, there's
After
not really a lot of replay value in my opinion, just because of the length.
yeah, after you've beaten the game and you've done a lot of the little side mission stuff. I mean, the DLC breathes new life into it, of course, and
Oh
you'll do
yeah.
the DLC, but the DLC is usually only
Oh, that was
a
like
couple
Blood.
hours.
Blood Dragon though did that for the other
Hmm.
one. I will
Yeah.
say, one thing that stood out to me was, the other Far Cry games. They had a certain degree of humanizing the bad guys. Like it wasn't so much that they were the bad guys, but there were certain parts of it I want to say where, like in Far Cry 3, you weren't really
Hmm.
one of the good guys.
Okay.
Like you were working for two factions that were equally as bad as the main bad guy, Pagan Min. And in my
Hmm.
opinion, of all the options, Pagan Min as the bad guy wasn't that bad of a guy, compared to everybody else. So it's like
Yeah.
you
I
do
mean,
Far Cry 3's secret ending and you just sit at the dinner table for a few minutes. He shows up and you go off in a helicopter together and, you know, bury your dad's ashes, and then the game, the game ends. It's like, holy shit, that that's all that had to happen.
see, the only one I really sympathize with in this game is Faith.
hmm
It feels like Faith was abused in some way.
Did you ever hear that
She
phone
was a
call?
drug addict. What's that?
The phone call. It was like a phone recording in one of the bases in her region.
What was it about?
Basically, she's talking about her old personality and how she left her in the dark, and Faith came out of her, and
Oh yeah, okay.
I want to say too, there's been quite a few Faiths apparently.
Yeah, that was he kind of said something like that too. After you defeated Faith, you get that like weird little conversation with him out of nowhere.
Mm.
That what's his name? Not I keep wanting to say David Koresh, but that's not it because that's basically who he is. But um, oh, what's his name?
The father.
Is he John Seed or the father Seed? Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you get that weird like sit down like
He
conversation
has the
from
snot
him.
coming out of his nose that he sucks back up
Yeah,
in. I
yeah.
almost gagged. That was gross.
Did you know that the tattoo on Faith's forearm, by the way, is the because she was an addict? That's the formula for cocaine.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the chemical formula for cocaine. So I thought like they're very good with the little detail work in this game, and I feel bad because I hadn't really played a Far Cry game since the first one back at Gamer HQ.
Mm.
That first one didn't really resonate too much with me, so I didn't really go on to play the other games after that. But now after playing this one, and I hear that this one is great, but it's not the best one. I'm like, oh well, I need to go back and play some of the other ones.
Well, Far Cry 3 was alright, and then Far
Well,
Cry
did you
4
know?
was alright.
Well, if you get the season pass, which I'm going to get, you actually get Far Cry 3 for free.
Oh, I already have it, yeah. I have 3 and 4.
Oh, well, whatever. I don't have it, so I'm going to get it for free. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. Anyways, what else is going on in the gaming news? Since you are our gaming half of this whole thing.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I need to. I gotta get the name correct. Let me pull this up real
Okay.
quick.
Well, while you're doing that, let's go back to Infinity War for a second
Mm-hmm.
and talk about how the two saddest deaths in that.
Mm-hmm.
Originally for me it was Spider-Man, of course. I think that was for everybody. And the directors have actually gone on record now as saying that the reason that Spider-Man's death is so much sad and so sad and so much more extended is because of, and this is the same thing Foxtail said to me, and it's actually in the comic book as
It's
well.
his super spider
Exactly.
senses.
It's his spider senses. He knew he was dying, you know?
So his healing got
Um,
kicked into overdrive.
yep. So there was that. And then later we find out that what Groot says to Rocket is he calls him father,
Oh,
you know? And it's like that is just gut wrenching, you
oh.
know? So, and it really sucks because the whole team up of Groot, Rocket, and Thor was probably my favorite team up in the whole movie.
Uh-huh.
Like, those three cracked me up.
Well, I'm wondering what good old the master magician. What is his title?
Doctor Strange,
Yeah,
Sorcerer Supreme.
Sorcerer Supreme has cooked up because he did that whole time reset when he was fighting
Dormammu, or whatever his name is.
Duramami.
Yeah.
Dormammu. Got killed a couple of million times and, finally struck a deal. I mean,
Hmm.
that, Time Stone has quite a bit of
Yeah, but
power to it.
he doesn't have the time stone. Thanos does.
Well, yeah, but when he died, he didn't have the Time Stone either. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, but he knew that he had to die. He knew that what had to happen because remember he said he saw it in how many thousands of different ways and that there's only one way in which they win, So he
Mm,
turned to Tony before he disappears and he says to Tony, basically like this had to happen. There's no other way.
mm.
So,
No, I'm just curious, like, because I feel as though obviously, he's done something that would,
mhm.
create a win. And on a side note, you know who could defeat Thanos with no problems whatsoever?
Who's that?
Rick and Morty. They could just portal him to another dimension. The glove would have been
Yep.
useless, and there you go. It only works
There you
in this
go.
dimension. Have a good day. You're stuck wherever you are. Go
Yep.
find that universe's Infinity Stones. Good to have fun.
That's very true. So do you have the name of this game now?
Oh yes, it's called SCP Secret Laboratory. It,
SCP Secret Laboratory. Is
it's
this one of
based on
your
the
VR games?
no. This one it's
Oh.
based off of basically the gameplay is very similar to Friday the 13th. Okay, so you have these horrible monsters that players get selected to play, and
Mm-hmm.
you have yellow jumpsuit prisoner guys, scientists, and then two or three different types of military factions. And
Mm-hmm.
basically, the whole game is based off of the Secure, Contain, Protect Foundation, or the SCP Foundation. I don't know if you've ever read those. That it's almost like a creepypasta thing
Mm-hmm.
under the
No, I've
guise
never read
of
those
a
though.
Men in Black organization. So
Oh,
basically,
okay.
yeah, it's just neat little articles that people have written, and each article gets designated an SCP number, and I think they're up to like I don't even know, like 4 or 5 thousand or something like that.
See, now what I like about that type of game style though, because that seems to be like that one and the Battle Royale have really like become like the top tier of like the first person shooting kind of or even third person shooting kind of gameplay, you know?
Well, this stands out from, and that's the thing with this is it stands out from like your Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th because you have multiple monsters working together who all have unique powers. They all have a giant hit point pool. For example,
Okay.
one of them is nicknamed Peanut because it's this giant concrete statue that kind of resembles a peanut, and it was based off this artist artwork that he had done. Right, he made this statue, and basically
Hmm.
somebody took it and then wrote this article about it, and it almost functions the same way as a weeping angel. where if you're
Okay.
looking at it, it won't move. But
Yeah.
if no one's looking at it, then it can move freely.
And wreak
And
havoc.
yeah, it'll just follow you, around and teleport, and then the second you blink, it'll teleport to you and snap your neck.
Nice.
So this thing is like super, and then when no one's looking at it, they can hear it like, you know, dragging around, concrete dragging, and in its containment unit. So
Hmm.
these articles are really, really well written, and they're written in like the redacted form of government documents. So you
Oh,
know
that's really cool.
so it's just like the whole archives, and there's some like classic ones, and ones that they've put into the game, which are like the more classic. I'll say bad guys.
Hmm.
So the whole point of the game is that it's in early beta right now, but they're going to start releasing more and more, SCP items and characters, like anomalous items. Like one of them is called the Living Room, and it basically
Yeah.
is this white orb with a door, and when you go inside, it eats you, and then every time somebody gets eaten, a new piece of furniture appears inside, and it's like
So it turns you into furniture
yeah.
inside the.
So it's almost like a lot of stuff have like anomalous proportions. So almost like a
Mhm.
TARDIS, where there's a lot of things that are bigger on the inside than they are outside, and this is one of them where the room is bigger on the inside. So it's like there was one story about how personnel got locked inside, and then there was a new lamp inside, like next to the couch and sofa and whatnot. It's like, ugh.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, but these articles are really just and some of them are just kind of creepy, like with how they're written. One was called like the Infinite IKEA, and
Hmm.
it's just like you go inside the front door of the IKEA, and some people would get lost and just end up realizing that they're you know trapped in this like infinite distance IKEA, and there are these like lumbering giant oddly proportioned employees that
Hmm.
at nighttime basically just beat you to death if because you haven't left the IKEA and you can't. So the article is short, but then they have this journal, and you read through this guy's journal, spending like a year trapped inside here with other
Oh my
people.
God.
And
Now let me ask you this though, real quick. The important part of that though. Did they still have the meatballs?
oh yeah, yeah, like somehow
Oh,
the
okay, okay.
somehow
So they
food
still have the Swedish
stations,
meatballs. Okay.
yeah, keep getting refilled. So he meets up with survivors, and he's surviving there for a while, and then they quickly realize that they're not all just coming from the same place. That they start talking about their history in life, and they're realizing that, wait a minute, that didn't happen. George Bush wasn't the president, where I'm from, and they realized that they were all coming from different dimensions.
Oh
That
my goodness.
holy shit.
Interdimensional and infinitely expanding interdimensional IKEA. I like that.
Yeah. So a real, real creepy, like, cool stories like that. And it's like some of these stories,
Oh my
as like
God.
one-off things, like would make
So
a
some
great
of those
like science fiction episode for a show.
so some of those IKEA things might not have even had Swedish meatballs. It might have been like Swedish like goldfish or something, like Swedish like chicken tenders or something
Yeah.
like what is this Swedish custard? Oh,
Swedish people? Ew.
well that might not be so bad.
Hmm. No,
Well,
just
that sounds
interesting.
cool.
Like it's
Yeah, that
very
is interesting.
Twilight Zoney, and I've always hoped that like something would come out of it. And they've made a couple of games. There was one game that was made called Containment Breach, where you
Hmm.
you play like low level. They have what's called designated D class personnel, and these are
Hmm.
basically like the world's worst criminals that are in jail, and basically they'll take you in as D class personnel, and you're going to be experimented on and killed by one of these anomalous items or people. And some
Oh,
of them,
nice.
like, straight up transport you to another dimension where a giant crawling two-armed torso, that's like 50 stories tall with 50, 500 eyes on its head, is just
Hmm.
going to, mangle and
Eat
mash
you.
you. Like,
Nice. Do you
it's
have a
just,
link to this?
yeah, I can link it to you, yeah.
Yeah, can you link that? Put that link on the Facebook page and everything,
Yeah, yeah,
and put it on our website.
yeah, absolutely.
That'd be awesome. So anybody that's listening here will be able to look this up. I'm gonna start reading these because that sounds fantastic.
Mm. No, it's fun.
So,
It's just fun to read. You know,
hmm when you get that extra time,
when you get that extra time, you want to be creeped out at night when you're sitting by yourself.
yes, it's the best time.
Ooh.
The nighttime is the best time. Or no, the nighttime is the right time. Wow, I just screwed that up, didn't I?
It's still the best time. What do you think? We're at about an hour right now.
We're at about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think we should. We'll be doing this every Wednesday now, guys. So if you're listening, we'll be taping every Wednesday and hopefully getting it on every Thursday or Friday. Sorry, something in my throat there,
Oh no, go ahead.
Felton.
You should have water or something. That's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, so we'll stop now. I want to thank y'all for listening. This has been the Murse,
Felton.
and we will talk to you later.